There we go. Okay. So yeah, so the topic today, guys, what I had in mind, and Justin and I will riff on with you is Thanks.io's automations. I'm having trouble today, Justin. Been
I
on
get
Zoom,
it.
been on Zoom since 9.
I had seven meetings today. I've been talking all day.
I'm gonna say, but I've been on since 9 a.m. So let's talk about Thanks.io's automation options. I think, Justin, do you want to give a quick rundown of because what your thinking was as you designed a lot of this, the Thanks.io and automation in general?
Sure, yeah. So we built Thanks to give people the same ease of sending direct mail. That is postcards, note cards, letters, and gift cards. The same ease of sending that as you would send an email or a text message or a phone call. There's a lot of other programs out there that do that type of stuff, like MailChimp and Twilio, and there really wasn't a whole ton in the mail sector that gave marketers and smart digital people the ability to leverage direct mail in a predictive, I know my ROI type method. So we said, how do we do this? So we built a crazy API, which is awesome, but we figure most of you guys aren't going to use that. It's like the geeky part. It's just like if you know real programming and you want to deeply embed us into your own software, or if you got somebody that's really knows what they're doing, you can do all of our stuff, everything, all completely programmatically, which is crazy because you don't need to even log into the dashboard. But then we realized hey, most of you guys aren't big nerds as we are, so that's why we built the Zapier and Pabbly and Integromat and Integrally, all the different other third-party people we sync with, which more or less are the traffic cop of the internet. So if you want to have your HubSpot or Salesforce or your random, CRM that's in industry X, as long as they have a Zapier or any of these other integrations, we can talk. We talk the same language. That means you move somebody from new to sold, they get a thank you card. You get a new lead in your CRM and you want to send them a brochure about what you do, it goes in the mail. All that stuff's possible. Our best clients never even log into our dashboard. They don't use us manually. They set us up. They put us in the software. They use it all day long, and they just have the stuff they want to trigger, just like it was an email. People don't log into SendGrid every day and oh wow, this interface is awesome, and I'm sending my emails. It's just SendGrid is a way to send email. And it gets sent via, your Salesforce account or your HubSpot account or your e-commerce platform or your CRM that works insurance or real estate or whatever you do.
A lot of people probably don't realize that their CRM is probably using SendGrid or something like it.
No. Most people don't know how the dinner's made. They don't care. They just want these things to happen. But what we're telling you guys is we enable direct mail to be sent as easy as an SMS or an email through these other systems. So it's super, super easy to do. I know a lot of people get, scared because it's, I think it's programming. It's not. It's if you can just read the screen and click on stuff, if Ryan can do it, you can do it.
They call it no code programming, right? So there's no actual code. It's just kind of using point and click logic to connect things together. It's kind of like when they teach kids programming. Justin, you ever notice those kids programming things? And
it makes me mad. Yeah.
You just pick a block and you put it next to the other block. So it can be pretty easy. I want to mention, one of the reasons we called this thing Thanks was, I think one of the original ideas when you and I were talking was thanking your leads was one use case. So, you would get a lead from a Facebook lead form or through a web form. And the idea was to send them something in the mail, something physical to help convert the lead. And that actual thing that makes that happen where you get a Facebook lead or a landing page lead and then Thanks.io triggers it. Usually that happens with something like Zapier or Integrately in the middle, right? So
you want to show them a Google spreadsheet example of adding a new row and triggering a card?
Yeah, I want to do that. We'll do that way. Okay, so let's go ahead and make a spreadsheet real quick.
So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how, it's a super just random example, but we're going to show you how when somebody would enter a new row into a Google Doc, that data could be the trigger for the sending of a postcard. So it's super simple. We're just saying, maybe you have an office admin, maybe, you have some ISA or something, just adding records into a spreadsheet. And you want to have the act of the addition of that row be the trigger for a sending of direct mail. And this is just the example we're going to use and show you the full, how we bolt it all together so that you can do the same thing, but the trigger can be whatever you want. As long as your software has this concept of working with Zapier. And you can go to zapier.com, type in your software name and see. All the good ones do. If you don't have it, it's your CRM's fault for being stuck in 1998. Go yell at them. So yeah. So first we created the document. Super easy.
Now you're going to need at least the street address, city, state, and zip. You don't need the email because we're a mailing solution, but you can inject emails now, Justin. Is that right?
Yep, you can. You can inject email and phone. It's handy to do some other stuff, like if our QR codes get scanned or they do stuff, you could actually know their information. Or if you want to delete or update a record, we can do it by email or phone. It's a better primary key.
Yep. So I've got my example address sheet ready to go. I'm going to go spin up my Zapier account now, right here. And I'm going to click Create Zap. So the spreadsheet in this case, guys, is we're just using this as a source Zap. I forget what they call it. They call it app event, right? So no, they call it trigger. Sorry.
Yeah.
So the spreadsheet is our trigger app in this case. So just imagine your CRM, KV Core, HubSpot, whatever you're using, or your shopping cart, Shopify. That's going to be your trigger. So let's go Sheets. My trigger event will be a new spreadsheet row in this case. It's going to ask me to connect an account. So I don't think I've hooked this one up yet. So that's good. I'll show you the process. Usually you have to, whatever the trigger app is, you got to kind of connect it up. So I'll click on my thanks.io profile here, click allow. And since it was Google, it was pretty easy to do. Most things connected to Zapier are kind of easy like that, right? It's usually one click or you put an API key or something.
Yep.
So we'll hit continue. It just wants to know where we're pulling the data from. So in spreadsheet example, it's usually right at the top. So it's my example address sheet. And then when you're using spreadsheets, it wants you to pick the actual sheet. You can have multiple sheets within the sheet. I just picked the first one, the only one. So hit continue. I'll test the trigger. And you can see it brought our buddy Santa in right here. It kind of shows you the example data. Hit continue. And now our action event, our action app, step 2, that's going to be our thanks.io. So,
and we really recommend using our add to mailing list Zap instead of actually sending the card, because this way you can kind of see everybody being added to a mailing list, and you can use our campaigns as the actual trigger for the send, which is kind of the right way to do it.
Yeah. So you can see, as Justin said, you can just directly send a letter, postcard, note card. You can directly send without their data ever getting into thanks. But what Justin's saying is we like the option of adding the recipient to your mailing list of thanks, because then you can use the campaign rules to send multiple cards. You have them in there for future sending.
Correct.
So I'm going to do add recipient, but before I do that, just notice here, you can also delete recipients from a mailing list. There might be cases with your marketing automation CRM, like a HubSpot. When this happens, I don't want to send a mail anymore. You can actually take them out of thanks.io too. And anything else in here interesting, Justin? Just the one-offs.
The radius search is pretty rad. So you can literally do a blast around an address. You just say, send to this address with this many cards. And that's going to get even better when our new map stuff comes out in the next couple of weeks.
Cool. But yeah, just the most 9 times out of 10, this is what you're going to be doing. You're going to either send direct, or we recommend the add recipient. So I'll add the recipient. It wants the account. So I'll just go ahead and do it. I'll connect a new account. And it should, if you're logged into thanks, I don't think we have to enter an API, right? I haven't done this in a little bit.
I'll ask for a login and password if you're not logged in, but if you're logged in, it just does it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see it just did it automatically. Hit continue. And now we're just going to choose what mailing list we want to put the leads onto. So I'll just use this kind of test one here. And then if you haven't used Zapier before, it's pretty straightforward, but it can be disorienting the first time. What you got to do is you got to click in here and you got to start grabbing the information from your data source, your source app. So trigger app. So what's the first name? Well, it's Santa, right? And then his last name is Claus. So I'm grabbing the fields where it came in. You can also separate them here. You can do it either way. So I just happen to do it that way. We can do our street or complete address. It's best to, you could put the whole address on one line, but it's safer to separate it, right, Justin?
Correct. Yeah. The
Yeah.
more you separate it, the more we know it's perfect. We have the ability to separate an address if you don't have that capacity, but sometimes it could get a little wonky.
Yeah. So I'm just going through, I'm doing city, state, click in here. Let's get our zip code. They kind of added this show more options. So if you don't see it, you kind of have to do an extra click. Didn't used to be like that. They made it harder for some reason. You can inject birthdays if you happen to have the birthday information in your sheet or your source app, our email. And then if you wanted to put custom fields in too, you can. So, you know, maybe it's in the real estate example, it's an absentee owner and they have, you know, you're mailing to their street address, but you want to reference the address in your local market. Be kind of an example.
There's so much stuff you can merge in here. Like, even just full sentences. Like, we had some real estate guy doing it for like the sentence they would merge in on like a thank you card, like on a house anniversary card. Like, please tell Tommy, you know, I hope he's doing well in baseball. You know, just like the one sentence that's specific to the person to be like, oh, he sent this. So you could merge that whole sentence in from the data source and then have that be the mail merge on your card.
It's also really good for like e-commerce, like if you have a product. So thanks for buying widget number A, right?
Yeah.
You know, so if but you just merge in whatever the order was. So yep, so that's about it. So we just kind of finish that up. We hit our test and continue. It'll try to shoot the data over. It says it was successful. Excellent.
Yep.
I'll go ahead and turn it on. And then now we're going to hop on over to thanks, just to make sure that it kind of landed in that mailing list. So let's go find that mailing list. And it didn't arrive yet. Did it not arrive, Justin? Because we'll try a test because I use like a
I don't think you did
address.
I don't think you did a test. You just did the save. Go back to the test and review.
Okay. I also have like not legit address information there. So I was going to add another one here. That's legit.
Oh yeah, the state's poll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what broke it. So I'll just put my address in here. Yeah, it needs a proper state. Yeah, definitely. So when I do that, it might not happen instantly. It could take a minute or two with Zapier. It should interpret this latest row, and it should attempt to run the Zap. So one way you can test, if you go over to the right here, you go to Zap history. And it hasn't had a chance to run yet. So I'm going to give it a minute, and we'll check back here. But it should
manually run it.
What's that?
You could go retest it and just manually run it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go retest it.
Oh, you know, you could pull in a new.
This is actually good for people to see because it's if you don't know to do this, like you kind of want to pull in the row again. I hit load more.
So then you see the new one.
I don't know why it's doing that. So yeah, here's the new one. To continue.
Yeah.
I don't know why it keeps doing that. You see that? Keeps that's kind of a new little not fun thing here, Zapier. Let me just see if it went over. All right, let's finish. So choose app and event, set up action. You kind of gotta, so all the data is there. And now I can test it.
You gotta retest and review.
Okay.
Because that actually tests it. You're doing the
retest and review.
Yeah. Yeah. Now go to thanks. It should be right in there.
There we go.
Yeah.
So now once it's on the mailing list, we've got lots of options because of the campaign functionality. So in case you guys don't know already, you know, campaigns, how they work is they say, hey, anytime somebody's adding to this mailing list, we're gonna create some rules. So I click add new campaign, should add new campaign event. I choose that mailing list. And I say anytime somebody lands here, I want to send this image and this message. I'm in a sub account, Justin. That's why it's being weird.
Yeah.
But now I can just attach any message and image templates I have and choose any of the objectives. So I can say, hey, anytime somebody hits this mailing list, the next day I want to send this piece, with the image and the message, and so on. So, and then if you ever want to take somebody off the list again, you can use the Zapier stuff to remove them through delete action.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different campaign options. So you can send on a date, which is like the birthday. You can send on a holiday. We sync with all the holidays, so it just knows which holiday is the right one, the right day, because it changes. We can do the time of the year, like once a year, twice a year. We're going to soon have staggered sending, which is even cooler. So you could say, I want this list of 10,000 people to get 4 touches a year, and it'll spread it out evenly over every day of the year. So instead of sending 4,000 in once, you could have literally like 20 a day, and it'll just drop that in the mail, 20 a day, so that you're evenly, spreading your budget across the year, across all of those people. And that should be out literally this week, which is pretty neat, especially with the people that are doing like direct mail.
Yeah. So question from Eugene, what stage or funnel do you get a full address from a potential lead? They must fill out a form to state the full address. Yeah, so there are lots of different places. If you're using, say, I know we have a lot of real estate people here, say you have a form on your site and they're getting their home value is like one. So whatever form you're using, eventually somebody's going to input the information. If you're using Facebook lead ads, you can actually put the street address in there, right? Street, phone, those fields. So yeah, it's just a matter of where you're getting what your use case is.
Yeah, somebody asked if Mojo is pulling new expired, terminated, or for sale leads into Thanks. Will it create a new list every day? No, it adds it to the list. So you want to segment all your stuff properly in Thanks. So if you're a real estate guy, you'd have your past clients, current clients, website leads, seller leads. However you segment your life, you segment your stuff in Thanks, and then you trigger them in Zapier to go into the proper funnel. So it doesn't add them automatically, these new categories, these new mailing lists. You do that. You set that up based on, the segment, like the bucket that these people should fall into.
Yeah. So Mojo, I think if I remember right, it's like a groups, right? So you would say, hey, anytime somebody's added to this group in Mojo, that would be your trigger.
Yeah.
Added to this group, and then you would add to a mailing list in Thanks that corresponds to that group.
Correct. Yeah. And everybody added gets started at the beginning. So it's days after added to list. So the day they get added to the list, the next day would be day 1. It would trigger the first send. Then it could go all the way up to day whatever, day 500, day 2000. And it would just say, if it's day 100, send them a letter. If it's day 200, send them a postcard. If it's their birthday, send them a gift card with an Amazon gift certificate. All that stuff's totally possible in our campaigns and completely automatable.
Yep. So Stan has a tool that can capture visitor data when they visit our website, and then you can backfill. So he's asking what the current response rate of the QR code for first direct site visit. So one thing I have to sneak in, Justin, right, is just mention we have that same technology baked into Thanks if you want to try it out. Yeah. So it's
if you're looking to find website visitors, we have it. It comes with the $49 plan. It's called Visitor View. And all you do is just go to any mailing list, click on the mailing list, and go to the bottom left. This little JavaScript snippet, you put it on a website and it just starts doing it. I haven't found any product that has as accurate of email and phone as what we're doing. Yeah. The Clearbit stuff gets businesses, and I get, if you're B2B, you need to do that, but this isn't that. This is for B2C. This is customer data. This is homeowner data, people living in a house. So if you're looking to get business data, the Clearbit thing would work perfect. But the problem is getting it to the businesses. We found recently, like, you don't know who's going to be there. Like, being able to perfectly match the person that who you want it to go to is key. So you got to get really.
Sounds like Stan's doing maybe commercial and needs tenant data. So
tenant data, yeah. I'm not sure if Clearbit does that, but I know they mostly did business stuff.
So
Yeah, I guess it would be the business tenant of that property.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that'd probably be the only way to get that. You just got to make sure you're really clear who you address it to, so that they know it was meant for them.
And then his question was, what's the response rate on the QR code versus direct site visit?
Yeah.
It's going to vary based on the strength of your call to action. We get
Yeah.
roughly somewhere in the 10% range of people scanning our internal QR codes, like the first postcard we said as a retarget. It's not going to be super high all the time, but I don't always know. You don't always know, because they could be scanning QR and usually you're going to have a URL in it.
Yeah.
The other thing that happens is people just go Google your brand. Like in our case, they just go to thanks.io when to get our postcards. So,
well, 1 or 2 is normal for like a really kind of mediocre card with a mediocre call to action.
yeah.
We have some real estate guys that are doing some pretty awesome stuff with their, letters and CMAs and crap that like really give them a reason to want to do it. And they're getting north of 6-7%. But it really depends on the carrot you're dangling out for the reason that they need to scan it. If it's not very compelling, it's not going to be very effective.
Yeah. It needs to be something interesting. Now, $50 Starbucks gift card for getting on a Zoom with me. Yeah. We'll something more.
They have a prospect and Mojo goes active as a way to add a tag to allow thanks to discontinue the marketing. Yeah, you wouldn't add a tag, you would just delete them. So you go to our Zap and you would delete them based on the delete field and just remove them from the mailing list.
So you have a separate Zap, Rich.
Yep. Yeah. So anytime you want to remove them from a mailing list that's actively marketing the person, you just use the delete Zap and get them out of there.
Yeah. So
yeah,
this one.
Somebody asked, do we have a library of compelling mailers? We always have people ask this. Where's the easy button? The truth is, any of those systems out there that have libraries, they just suck. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to work. It's an easy button. It might make you feel good, go to sleep, saying you checked off the direct mail button, but you have a completely unfunctional mailer. We tell all our guys, like, the more out of the box, the more weird, the more different your mailer looks, the better it functions. If it looks like, yeah, go ahead.
And the offer is more important than anything. Like, that's all marketing. Like, what are you offering? It could be yellow with black text and work really good.
Yeah, I fight Ryan all the time with look, because all his stuff looks completely discombobulated. But I've seen his stuff get the highest response rate of anything I've ever seen. The fancier you make it doesn't mean it's better. Yeah. And the more detailed and more text and more graphics and all this, it just, people don't care. People don't read. People don't. And then when they sort their mail, they sort it into 2 piles. It's I'm going to read this pile, and it's I'm going to put this in the shredder pile. If you don't even get into the I'm going to read this pile, you already lost. So it's really important to make whatever you're doing either look funny, look different, or look compelling enough for them to want to read it. And that's the first and foremost thing that you need to do when you're designing your mail. Because if it just looks like the normal Roto-Rooter mailer, like you're done. You're done before it started.
Yeah. And Joey, we would need to know your industry too. I mean, we might be able to say, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. So for real estate, there's a course in our university that has some examples. But realistic.
And the new website that we're putting up soon is going to have a very, very specific real estate stuff. If you want to share that, you can show them that we have like 4 articles that we've written that's very specific on, like, because we know the real estate guys very well, and we know you guys struggle when it comes to, like, ultimately, like 99% of them is like, what are you trying to do? It's like, oh, I'm trying to generate seller leads. So we're just breaking it down exactly what you should do to get the end goal you're trying to go for. And
this is in draft, right, Justin? It's not live yet.
It's not live yet. We're very soon going to have exact plans, how to use our gift cards to recruit, how to generate seller leads through CMAs, how to use our visitor view to get 5 times the sign up rates your website's currently producing. Like, all these stuff will be laid out, and you can just follow it, or you could ask our team to kind of execute it for you. So yeah, that's our staging website. So if you guys see it, don't mind the mess. It won't be up for another couple days.
And then we do have the we have the university. You're fine, Charlie. Let me see.
We do, but they're more of, it's more you're showing you how to drive, not necessarily where to drive to. And
Yeah.
a lot of people, they need the specifics. This is how to do X as a business goal. And we're just trying to make that really simple for you guys. And our new website soon, we're going to actually just have some of the stuff just directly for sale, like just listed and just sold. Like, just tell us, give us your website's address. We'll just do it. Because so many people, that ultimately, we provide all of these tools, all of these functions, but not everybody's a marketer, not everybody's a graphic designer, and we get that. So like, we're trying to put a little place in the middle for the people that, are unwilling or are not capable of pulling it off.
Yeah.
So,
and along those lines, so, the topic today was this automation. Just keep in mind that any CRM you're using, for the most part, shopping cart, can be connected. And we do, if you're sitting here going, I don't have time to figure this out, we do provide automation services if you're on our business plan. So our team will just.
And design. So like, if you just have no idea how to make anything look decent, or you have no idea how Zapier is or what it does, and you can just say, hey, I'm trying to do X, I use software Y, make it happen. So if you join our business plan, we have guys that can do that for you. Cool.
Yeah. Well, I don't see too many other questions, but hopefully this was a good rundown. Hopefully, let us know, guys, did just getting a look at Zapier give you better context, kind of how you can use the system. Again, we've got business owners in all different niches and categories here, so it's hard for us to say, hey, do this specifically, but just know, for the most part, the major use cases are going to be thanking a lead, thanking a customer, sending somebody a touch, like via a drip campaign, right? So you have a contact in your database and you want to make sure they don't forget about you. You schedule a postcard or a note card 3 months later,
Yeah.
Just lots of possibilities.
Yep.
What can be sent to Canada, Justin?
The smaller postcards, the note cards, the letters can be. The gift cards can't be. They're not. They're only in the US.
Do the note cards send to Canada?
The note cards go to Canada. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just the gift cards because they're only US enabled, I guess.
Yeah. They're mostly US companies, so they're US enabled. So
we might need to put a US only under there or something.
Yeah. I think on the other one there is.
Yeah.
But yeah. The postage is a little much, for the added country stuff, like, because it's got to come from the US still. We don't have delivery in Canada, like we don't have individual printers in Canada. So, you might want to look around, see if the pricing's what you expected.
You figure somebody's got to be doing this up there. I don't know if our friends at Mailbox Power have figured that out. They're probably dealing with the same postage issues.
Yeah, I mean, we have the capacity to spin up Canada and the UK if we wanted to. We just don't have enough quantity right now to justify another print house. But yeah. Well, thanks, guys. We're going to keep doing this till the chickens come home. So every Tuesday we're going to pick a different topic. We'll take our feedback from everybody's here, and if they want us to go in a direction, we'll go there. But look. In the near future, look out for some of our updates. We're gonna be doing some pretty cool stuff. We have a mobile app coming out 2 or 3 months. That's gonna make things even easier. But in the very, very short term, we're gonna have a new website which allows individuals to just buy gift cards. Like if you have a kid's birthday and he likes Fortnite and you want to send him a birthday card or whatever, like it'll just be point and shoot. Like type the message, choose Amazon, choose 50, hit go. So all that stuff will be up very, very soon. So yeah, cool. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks everybody. We'll get the replay up on the YouTube channel shortly.
Yep.
Rich, we'll do that next week. Rich is asking if we could show how to make the card front and back. So yeah, let's mess with some design stuff, basic design stuff next week.
Yeah, we'll show them how to use Canva.
Yeah.
That'd be a good idea.
Cool. So we'll see you guys next Tuesday. I'll get the replay on YouTube shortly.
Yep. Thanks, guys.